Hello, everybody. We are back with another video. Today, we're going to be doing another hypothetical 2028 election prediction. We're pretty deep into the off season at the moment. We're in the summer months of Donald Trump's second term as president, not even really thinking about the midterm elections yet, really turning the corner. Midterms begin in November, December, when people start really running for these positions, even though some have announced. Deep into the off season. Looking ahead to 2028, I just came out with an article on my own website talking about who I think Republicans could nominate for president in 2028. One of the options that I think has not been discussed as much, although certainly is a central figure of this administration, one of the highest possible cabinet positions as well, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. Although he has no previous political experience, keep in mind, Trump never had previous political experience. He is relatively young. He's articulate. Some people even see him as the middle ground between when you look at J.D. Vance, trying to push isolationism and keeping America out of sovereign involvement on President Trump, while Rubio definitely more involved, definitely more protectionist, definitely more, um, wanting to keep America's influence, especially with regard to the Western Hemisphere and Israel in particular, connected. Hegseth, very much middle ground, very much, balancing those two options out. Could be a potential candidate in 2028, if not president, maybe even vice president. He is somebody who has experience now. He has the national, um, he's on the national playing field, and he's the Secretary of Defense. So, that's something that is crucial to look at. And going to look at Gavin Newsom now, governor of California, definitely somebody who wanted to run in 2024 or was looking at his options in 2024. Is a difficult lane to run in at that point. Biden dropped out of the race and endorsed Kamala Harris just immediately after, basically. So his real lane now is 2028. So this is a hypothetical prediction between him and Hegseth. Let's get into the safe Newsom states. I definitely think Gavin Newsom's a strong candidate to become the next president. But the thing is, he has to win the Democrat primary. And somebody like him, somebody in Newsom's position, is going to have some trouble winning the Democrat primary in today's day and age. You have people like AOC, Bernie Sanders, that wing of the party, Elizabeth Warren. I'm not saying Warren or Sanders is going to run, but candidates of that stripe. You look at Zohan Mamdani as winning the New York primary race in New York City. There's a new breed of Democrats coming out, replacing that old guard, Democrat people that you could normally consider people like the Bill Clintons, the Andrew Cuomos, the Joe Bidens, the Gavin Newsoms, the establishment Democrat, new breed coming out. I'm leaving the state of New York out for that reason, as well as New Jersey, as well as Connecticut. You look at Kamala Harris's performance in these states, definitely not safe. Although Gavin Newsom's a stronger candidate, I want to leave it out of the equation for now. Hegseth, I do believe, is a strong Republican candidate. And he certainly will be carrying that Trump mantle in this election, assuming that Trump has a successful presidential term. My fault. Maine's first is Newsom. Maine's second is Vance, or not Vance, Hegseth. I do believe Iowa and Ohio will be safe, as well as the state of Florida. The state of Florida has significantly shifted in favor of Republicans over the last few election cycles. Now we're going to give that likely state to New York, to New Jersey, to Connecticut. Those states still deserve to be likely, as well as the state of Colorado, as well as Maine at large. I don't think Hegseth will be particularly popular in the Northeast, as well as the state of New Hampshire. Newsom, I do think, will perform well over there, although Hegseth, I think, will do better in the Rust Belt states, in the Rust Belt region. Texas will be a likely Hegseth state, as well as the state of Arizona, and as well as the state of Nevada. Republicans, especially the Hispanic community, shifting more toward the Republican Party. You saw Trump winning Arizona by a very considerable margin this time around, as well as Texas, as well as for the first time a Republican has won the state of Nevada in 20 years. Bush won it last time in 2004. That was the last time a Republican had won it. It has shifted back in favor of Republican side. Newsom leaning blue states, state of New Mexico leaning in favor of Gavin Newsom, the state of Minnesota and the state of Virginia leaning in favor of Gavin Newsom, getting him to 225 electoral votes. Taking a look at Pete Hegseth, I think he'll win the state of Georgia by a lean margin. Leave North Carolina out of the equation. That's going to be a tilt state no matter where it goes. Also, I think Nebraska's second is a lean district for Gavin Newsom. The rest of these states, the remaining four states, are in the tilt category, tilt blue, tilt red category. Actually, excuse me, I'm going to put the state of Pennsylvania in favor of Pete Hegseth. As I said, that gives him the presidency. I don't want to keep you guys in suspense. 271 electoral votes. Trump really, really has done exceptionally well for Republicans in the Rust Belt. You know, Obama really had that on lock, and Trump won those states in 2016. Biden narrowly took them back in 2020, and then Trump did better in, I believe, all of the Rust Belt states, minus Wisconsin, possibly, I think. But I do think he actually did better in Wisconsin than he did in 2017. All of those Rust Belt states than he did in 2020 and in 2016 when he won them originally. So Hegseth continuing that mantle, 271 electoral votes. I think the state of Wisconsin will tilt in favor of Newsom, while I think the state of Michigan and the state of North Carolina will tilt in favor of Pete Hegseth getting in the 302 electoral votes, defeating Gavin Newsom, and becoming the next president of the United States. With that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. Stay tuned for more content, and have a great day.